Open your ears.
Yep.
New Meredith.
This is Community Coalition.
Hey.
That's me. Yep. Too long.
For now. That's how we rise up. Knowledge as well.
Let's wise up.
We municipal.
Change the forecast.
This the podcast to listen to. We got a vision.
Let's make it visible.
Tell them nothing. Man, and listen me.
All bite, no bark. Real talk. Real talk 360. Yeah. Well, all right.
Man, I messed up. I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I messed up.
I like that. That's cool.
How y'all doing? My name is Jamel Lyde, and this is Real Talk 360 on the 119 Media Group Podcast.
Real talk. Good morning, good day, good evening, good night.
Yeah, all that. Because we might be worldwide. Somebody might be watching this in India or something. What time it is in India,
right,
man?
1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. Not just South Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, folks from around here might be traveling. You know, it ain't where you from. It's
That's where you at right at the moment.
wherever you at.
That's
Thank
right.
you for taking up the time.
And we appreciate y'all coming back.
Yeah.
I need you to do a favor. If you got a smartphone, if you got a computer or you're on your iPad, hit this and share this on your page so your friends can listen.
Yeah. Like, follow,
Tag in the
subscribe.
comments.
Oh, you don't want to miss this one.
Yeah, you don't want to miss this one.
Like, follow, subscribe.
Well, in the studio today, we have
Ooh.
the mayor of Darlington,
All right.
All right.
Let me get some
Curtis
applause.
Boyd.
Yeah.
What's that?
Gotta say something so they can see your face, Curtis. And check this out. You know how we do it. You know how we started off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
On my left,
Oh, yeah.
coming out of Timminsville.
Hey, Timminsville, South Carolina, man. Stand up, man. It's me, a.k.a. Mr. 843 Dory McAllister in the building, man. Hey, listen. Hey, I'm back. Glad to be here, man.
Yeah.
Glad to be
What's
here.
happening, Dory?
And on my left and in front,
Come on now.
coming in motion.
From the swamp.
I'm about to give him the ball.
That's
Tell him where
right.
you're from.
We're going to run this quick pitch real quick. Swamp. Marion County's own Corey Grant in the building.
Oh, yeah.
In the building. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
And right in front of me,
Yes.
he said he's the mayor of Darlington.
Mayor.
Pretty
He said every city you go to, there's a gym that says, it says it up there. Tell him where you're from
I'm from Darlington, South Carolina.
and tell him who you are.
I am the mayor of Darlington. My name is Curtis Boyd, and I'm grown up and I'm 21, but I'm 59. I've been here all life.
I like it.
So what school did you go to?
I went to St. John's, went to Pate, and then I went to Brunson Dargan and St. John's Elementary.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Brunson Dargan.
Then I went to Florence Darlington Tech, and then I went to Francis Marion.
Hey now.
Oh, okay.
That's right. FMU.
That's good stuff.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
so Curtis,
Yes, sir.
you know, I did a little bit of looking in your past and all that, and first I saw one of the most interesting thing that I seen is first when I came in your gym, I seen the karate thing.
Right.
And how long have you been doing karate?
I did karate. I started karate when I was 13, and I took it for about a month and a half, and I lived in Darlington, and I took it in Florence, and my mom says, oh, you know enough that you can practice on your own, right? And I said, yes, ma'am. And so I quit after that because she was tired of driving me back and forth to Florence. So then when I finished tech, I was 19, and I started back at 19, and I took karate for the rest of my life.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And then you taught classes and things like that.
I taught for about 34 years.
34 years. Okay. So was you like a?
What belt is that?
Sensei? Black belt?
I'm a sensei. Sensei just means one that has gone before.
Yeah.
And,
Man, I thought Sensei was gonna be like master of all or something.
We're not bulletproof.
Oh man, I thought y'all could dodge bullets and catch them and stuff like that.
He can.
That's only on TV.
Oh, so only Mr. Miyagi can do that.
That's right. But I'm a 5th degree black belt. So.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, don't just slide. Yeah, just let it. Hey, he tried to. Like, oh no, yeah, but I'm 5th degree black belt. And the other thing, wait. 5th degree.
Okay. So how many degrees are there?
There's 10 degrees.
10 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeez.
Shoot.
You ever met Chuck Norris?
No.
Chuck Norris.
He's a 4th degree.
I tell people I taught Chuck Norris,
See?
and I'm faster than Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's dead, and my nephew's name is Chuck Norris. So,
So you can
I'm not lying.
so you can stand on that.
There you go. There you go.
Just kind of stretched it a little bit there.
That's cool.
All
That's
right.
cool.
So you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
All right. Was gyms what business? Did you always just have gyms, or was there anything before that?
Well, when I look back at my life, I realized that I guess I was an entrepreneur as a child. When my mother would get up and she said, "Let's go on Saturdays, go to yard sales." We would go to yard sales on Saturday mornings at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I thought that was fun, and we would buy toys and clean bikes and stuff like that, and clean them up and put them in the front yard and sell them, and cut grass and sell grit papers, and just always thinking of a way that you could make money, put it to the side. And so then as I got older, I had different jobs, and in your head you're always just thinking, well, there's something else I could do, and so when I decided when I took karate, I finished at Francis Marion, didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do when I grow up, and I'm 59. I still haven't decided what I'm gonna do when I grow up yet. And so anyway, I started teaching karate in my backyard, and I had
Hold on. Go ahead.
all right. So I started teaching karate in my backyard. Harvey Drawdy was the principal at Pate at that time, and I had 2 students in my backyard, and when Hugo came by and tore my little building up, and I added a little building in the back, and I started taking my lawnmowers out and teaching inside that building, and it kept growing. And Mr. Drawdy would announce it for me at school, and I went up with 42 kids in my backyard. I added on to the building in my backyard and kept growing. And so then I decided after I finished Francis Marion, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. So I thought about trying to do it full time. And so I opened up the karate school.
Okay.
And with the karate school, my father kind of came up with the idea of adding the gym, which he had never worked out, so I'm not sure where he came up with that idea. So I added the gym to it, and the gym did okay, but the karate school blossomed because that's what I did. That's what I knew, and so I promoted the karate all the time, and that's where I became Karate Curtis, because everywhere I would go, I'd wear my gi. I'd go through town, I'd wear my gi, and so it was just like my advertisement to try to get people in. And, you need to take karate, you need to take karate. Especially when you first open up and you got $300 in the bank, and they told me at Tech, come out here and talk with them about business, and they said, well, you need a year's worth of your expenses in the bank to be able to open up. And I'm like, well, dude, if I had a year's worth of expenses, I wouldn't open up. I'd be rich. And so I opened up with $324 in my bank account when I first opened up, and so that's not something I would suggest to everybody, but at the same time, it does make you hungry. So then when I looked at everybody, I'm like, hey, you need to take karate. And so the karate, blossomed, and we did really well. And I've always kind of done things outside the box. And so we would go and do demonstrations in the streets, and I'd run them up down the street so they could be seen. And we'd, barefooted on the asphalt and push-ups on the asphalt, just getting attention and working the kids hard and working ourselves hard. And so the karate grew, and the gym, actually did a little bit smaller. I actually moved the gym into a smaller building, a smaller room, when we moved into a bigger building, and made the karate school bigger. And so then over a period of time, I started enlarging the gym. And when I got remarried to my wife, now I've been married to her 20 years. And when I started adding more stuff in the gym, added another room, people get all excited. And then my wife kept saying, well, why do you keep buying more equipment? I said, well, every time I buy another machine, everybody gets excited, And so we just kept, adding on to that location to where it grew larger. And I moved from there into the building that we're at in Darlington. And then from that point, we just kept adding on and we've gone from 2 people to probably close to 15,000 gym members now. Woo. And it has done well. We have 12 locations. And my mother would always say, you're never satisfied. And I said, well, every time I get to open another gym, I get to pay more tithe, and I get to put my password as Jesus loves you. And,
Come on, say that.
And so get to help a lot more people out. So I enjoy it, and I enjoy helping people, and I love seeing it grow. So we keep bouncing out about 20 minutes apart. We've had the opportunity to go further out, but kind of our niche is, no matter where you're at, you can go to another location. So if I'm 2 hours away and I don't have nothing in between that, it's kind of hard to make that work. So we keep trying to grow out just about another 20, 30 minutes away from each location.
Okay, ain't no problem. So your first gym, is it the one down?
The first gym was actually we're across from Burger King in Darlington. Used to be a metal building there.
I remember.
And that was my first commercial building. And then I moved from there up to the railroad tracks. They tore that building down. And we were there for a little over 12 years at that building. And, and so we outgrew that building and went into the location I'm at now.
All right. So check this out. You're a 20-degree black belt. Talk Chuck Norris.
Same thing.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What makes you want to get into politics?
Sometimes I wonder. Actually what started it was Bryant Gardner on city council.
Okay.
He came to me one day, we were sitting at Hardee's, and he asked me about helping with the trail. And so I guess I've been mayor now almost 4 years, getting on my 4th year here. And so that was about 2 years before that. So about 6 years ago, he was trying to start a trail through town. And of course, I was active with the health and fitness. And so he thought that would be a good idea for me to see if I could present something to council. And so that was actually, first time I'd actually been up much and seeing what council did. And they just kind of shunned me off like it was no big deal and didn't really listen to me, felt like, and just kind of opened my ears and started going back and seeing what was going on. And I just felt like I could do better. And so didn't like what I was seeing. I thought we could go further, and they was just kind of shutting him down. And it's taken us this, Mr. Milling, that's Judge Milling, that's on the city council. The one thing he taught me was, it's the difference between being a mayor, working on, or city council member, or anything with politics, is a lot different than it is with my gym. If I walk into the gym, I don't really have to even ask my wife. She's my partner, but I'm the one that kind of has the ideas of what we're going to do. So if I got an idea and I've got the money to do it, and I think it's planned, then I can go for it. I don't have to go ask the 6 other people on council. Okay. And so I can go get it done. Whereas with the differences of being city manager, city council, and being the mayor, I'm the mayor, but I get one vote. And so when I go in there, I've got to hopefully get 3 more people to agree with what I'm thinking. And then we got to still make sure that we go through the right process and, to get it done. And so just like that trail, it's taken us it's been about a year and a half now. We've gotten approval and got the grant, but you're still waiting on engineers and everybody else to go through all the loopholes. And so it looks like, we're just sitting on our hands, but yet, we're eager to go. Give me the key and I'll go fix it. I'll go dig the trail. And so, but it's been approved and finally gotten, that something that actually started me into the position is coming to premonition of actually working and starting with the voter registration as the trail will actually start there and has been approved. County helped us with that grant. It's an $850,000 grant total that's doing stuff downtown. Helped pay the old Carnegie Library. Got paid with that. There's multiple things that's downtown that's going to be used for that grant, but that's one part that's actually started that. But I've lived here my whole life, and you just want to see things happen, and a lot of things that have been kicked to the curb for years. The ball fields is one thing that's been kicked to the curb. Lee Andrews said the other day they've been working on 30 years trying to build a sports complex for 30 years, and that
doesn't happen.
But it's happening now. We're going to do it. We got a final approval from nothing's been signed. I don't say final approval, but we finally got public approval to where we can council from the school board and the city council have agreed together that we can move forward with trying to do it at the current sports complex, the current Blue Street ball fields. There is to be able to renovate all those fields. And so we were going to do it on 151. Mm-hmm. One of the council members made a comment between me being elected and sworn in, 2 months or so before that they were going to never get a ball field. And so that just put fire underneath me. And so I went out and we found the piece of property on 151 bypass and 151 going to Hartsville. Beautiful piece of property. The architects all said, beautiful, everything's great about it. We, in 2016, 2018 timeframe, the city was going to do one on Lawson Road, and they had drawings and everything else for it, around $3 million to be able to do a sports complex out there with about between 8 and 9 ball fields and stuff. And so for whatever reason, they backed off that and decided not to get that piece of property, went to another piece of property. They've been back and forth with numbers of pieces of property trying to get this done. If they'd have done it back then, they could have got it for $3 million, okay? In 2020, when I became mayor, within 3 months, we got that piece of property purchased and was able to start moving forward with it. And
lumber prices.
It wasn't a matter of, we were trying to get it annexed in A lot of people are confused. It doesn't have to be annexed in. The only thing the ball field would bring us in is if you pay for travel team, all that money comes into us. If you buy hot dogs or concession stand, all that money still comes into us. There's no taxes or anything that's brought in from that. That front corner lot, my dream was to be able to build a gas station or something that, somebody rent it out. And if that piece of property was in the city, then that would be tax revenue coming into the city. So I was trying to come up with another idea of what would bring more money into into town. Perfect location for it. The county and the Ramseys were all on board to go ahead and let us annex in, just what we call annex strip. The racetrack the NASCAR was giving us a little hard time back and forth, and in March of 2020 we were on conversation with them, telling them it's going to be a $3 million project and everything, and then all of a sudden, boop, COVID.
Yeah.
Oh. Nobody talked to you for 6 months.
Yeah.
Everything was live on stream. Of course, everybody knows the whole world shut down. And then when it opened back up, everything was 3 or 4 times the price. So then when we finally got to where we could go get the land surveyed and cut and approved and drawn out, and the architect comes back and he says, just the ball fields, $18 million. For what we had drawn out, $24 million. So we'll be able to do pretty much for a quarter of the price. We'll be able to go back out to where the school board is now, on Blue Street, and still have the same ball fields that we're going to do. Brand new high school stadium, redo all the fields we got now, bringing everything up to par, bring it up to ADA compliant. There's no bathrooms out there right now. We have bathrooms. We'll have new dugouts, new lighting, new fencing, new. I don't want to say new paved parking lot, because there is no paved parking lot out there now. And so tennis courts will be moved out there. The tennis courts we got now, they're going to try to turn those into pickleball. And
Some of the ones by the police office.
Right, and where the splash pad's going there. And so, the school's working with on that to where we can do all that at the same time they're building a new school. And so that'll save the taxpayers a lot of money. Then we've approved the master plan. The master plan is where we've hired, I consider myself a professional, but I don't know all the answers. Judge Millen is a professional at being a judge, and each council member has their expertise. But to get a master plan, we've hired a company as a master plan to give us an idea of where we should go. So that way, for example, we bought the piece of property on Exchange Street across from the YMCA.
Okay.
And it's little teeny buildings, and there's I think there's 8 doors there and like 4 parking spots. Okay, so it's kind of outgrown itself. And so a couple of our ideas were to tear that down, and that parking lot would be across from the other parking lot where News and Press is, and make one big parking lot and build a lot more inviting to get in and out. A couple of them thought we should wait on trying to get more properties downtown filled up before you do it. So, between the councils, we couldn't completely decide what you want to do with it. Well, we decided to, all this is going to be put into the master plan. So just like the ball field property out there, we're going to put that into the master plan, and they'll give us a better idea. Just like the ball field property would be perfect to put housing on, to add more housing into the city. We can actually get that annexed in. Everybody will work with us to get that in, but they're just looking for a set plan that it's going to work before we can get it annexed in. So if we get that 100 acres annexed into the city, and we put houses on that property, that would bring more revenue into the city.
What kind of houses?
I mean, again, that's what we're looking for. I mean, right this moment, if people call me all the time, and I've heard people out talking, they think we're buying all the buildings up. Well, most everything I bought is $10 a square foot. So if you can buy $10 a square foot, you would too. And it just happens to fall in place, and it's Todd has bought a good number of properties, and his is knee deep in water and just a mess. I can't afford to buy. I can't fix buildings up like that. Some of the buildings I've got, run across a good deal, and it's time to buy it and grab it. But the goal behind it is, if a lot of people think, that I have rental homes. I don't have any rental homes. I've got about four buildings downtown that I rent out. But if you call me, and a lot of people will call me and say, well, I need somewhere to rent. And so I'll send them to, Dr. Reed's has a bunch, Sam Evans has some, Jeb Blackman have some, the Privets have some. So I'll try to, say, well, Jeb Blackman just told me the other day he's got 4 properties available. And so I'll call them and try to help put them in places. But right now, if you're looking for a home in Darlington, a rental home, a rental place, apartment, or whatever else, most everybody is completely full. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then right now, homes have gone from $750 to rental homes and apartments from $750 up to $1,200. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's just, crazy. I don't know how they pay it. That's more than what we used to pay for a house back, big houses. And so, but then when these people move out of a house, an apartment, they're paying $1,100-$1,200 a month, and they get ready to move into a home, then where do they go? They're looking for a home to buy. There's not even a whole lot of houses for sale in Darlington. Okay, there's no housing developments being built in Darlington. There's a few houses being built. Finally, we've gotten, I think, 10 properties been annexed into the city in the last 3 years, where they built new houses and have annexed them into the city, which is more revenue coming in. So we've got a small growth moving on that, but you need some affordable housing, you need some high end housing, you need a number of things to where people will want to stay.
Yeah.
The plant manager for Georgia Pacific, Georgia Pacific, he doesn't live here. He couldn't find a house he wanted, so he lives on the other edge of Darlington, on the outskirts of Darlington. Whereas, we want people to live inside the city limits of Darlington. The more people I can put in Darlington, the more revenue that we can bring in. And so I tell people, if it's just me and you in Darlington, then we got to split everything. Okay. Yeah. You got to pay 50%, I got to pay 50%. Yeah. And so the more people we put here, then we can start sharing and have more growth.
Yeah. I ride through Darlington every day. Mm-hmm. Take my son to school in the morning time. I come in, I can remember me coming in down 52, taking a right on Joe Louis Boulevard, right, then taking a left on Jordan Street. And let's just say, every Friday my grandmother would take us, when she got paid, she was going to take us to the Hardee's over there. You remember the Hardee's over there?
Oh, yeah.
But I can remember coming down Darlington on a Friday or Saturday, and BC Moore's was there.
Right. BC Moore's.
Yep. Larry's Outlet was there. The pizza place by the movies was there.
Yep.
The movies was there. Then you had those stores right across the street from there.
Right.
All those stores were filled. And I remember Po' Boys. You remember Po' Boys?
Oh, yep.
They just had the best fish in the world. The best fish sandwich in the world used to be at Po' Boys. And it was just like Friday and Saturday in Darlington, to me, was kind of like the greatest feeling, because this was my home, right? This is where I'm from. I've been a lot of places, but Darlington is where I'm from. It's where I represent. So now I ride down there, and I love Darlington, the city of Darlington. I love the city of Darlington. I love the people and everything. But now you can tell that when you ride down there, and I know it's changed. This was the 84 or 80, something like that. But now it's 2023. But I just don't get that feeling like I used to get. And I want that feeling to come back, because, this is where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The same, it excites me the same way Marion excites you.
Yeah. That's why.
The same way Timminsville excites you.
Yep.
Man, I can remember going to the bank over there. Well, they tore that bank down. It's another bank now over there where Hardee's used to be, because that's where my grandmother used to cash a check, right? Mm-hmm. But how, or do you ever think we're going to get back to that feeling in Darlington? And how can we get the people? Because it seems like now people get excited. The same restaurant, I don't mean same restaurant, but the same stuff that you can buy in Darlington, we rather go to Florence and buy, or we'd rather go to Hartsville and buy. Right. Like right now, I used to go to Office Depot a lot.
Right.
I forgot the little lady was downtown. Right. You know what I mean? A nice little lady. Right. So now I try to take the business and keep it in Darlington.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't know if people know what it means to keep money. Well, we talk about it.
But they don't know.
They don't know.
And they do, but they do know, but they still do what's convenient.
Correct. But you do what you're used to.
Yeah.
Because we didn't got so long. Even when you was young, even though we felt about Darlington, the things I felt about Darlington, but it was exciting to go to Florence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, your issue is a number of things, okay? If I take you all the way back, no one is invited to come to Darlington. You know why?
Why?
Because they built the bypass. That's your first step.
52 bypass.
They built the bypass to come through Darlington, okay? And that happens to a lot of towns, okay? And you're from Marion, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love Marion, okay? I love Darlington because Darlington's my home, but I love Marion. Marion's got some great people.
I know. Yeah. Go ahead.
But
Check.
if you come in from Sherrall down 52,
Yeah.
you used to come down North Main.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not invited to come down North Main. You're invited to go on down 52, right?
Yeah.
If you're coming from Hartsville, and even now, even more so with the race, they block the highway patrol block you off from coming into town, and they make you go down the bypass. Okay, but still coming from 151 from Charlotte, you're invited to go on down the bypass and turn that way. If you're coming in from Florence, you're invited to come down the bypass by the Pizza Hut. Okay? So everybody's from 1976 or back has been invited to go away from Darlington.
That's a good point.
And then you've got a number of factors. Another factor is, okay, well, like Belks and all that, we used to be downtown, BC Moore's and all that. And I used to remember getting my tennis shoes, and time you get that brand new pair of tennis shoes, you run down that sidewalk because they got that brand new pair of tennis shoes will make you faster, right? And so I remember all that too. But then the mall came up, right? And so then everybody wanted to put everything in the mall. So then we'll all go shop at the mall, right? Okay. Well, the mall doesn't do as well as what it used to do from years ago, because now, as much as people say, well, I want to shop local, I want to take care of that little lady downtown, I want to go eat at this person, do something with this person, I can get on here, I can just type it in a matter of seconds. I mean, I'm guilty to the point of razors. Okay, you go to somewhere and buy a razor, and you walk into Walmart now. You walk into Walmart to buy a razor in Darlington, they got them locked up. You got to look for somebody, and you got to go get a key, and then you got to check security to make sure that I'm walking out with my razors, where I can go in here and 2 days later I can have my razor. Okay, so then the internet has prevented people from shopping local, but you're starting to see that people are tired of that. People want that hometown look and feel. And so in Darlington, and I'm going to use Marion as an example, to me, the difference between Darlington and Marion, right now, if you come to Darlington and ask me, can you rent a building to put a cloth shop in, or a clothing store, or ice cream shop, or whatever else, there's pretty much nowhere for you to go. There's empty buildings, okay? But the average person coming in can't take some of these buildings and repair them because they're in such bad shape. The ones that we have, okay? The ones I've seen in Sherrall and Marion, Marion's got a beautiful town. Marion's having a hard time getting their downtown.
They are.
Yeah, filled up. But they got beautiful buildings. Their buildings are in better shape.
Yeah.
A lot of our buildings have been neglected over the years, to where I'm going to use the movie theater as an example. I've been mayor for 4 years. It took us almost 3 years fighting to get inside that building and finally get it to where we could see how to get in it. The person let us in, and then when he let us in, he finally sold it. But like I said, it was waist deep in water, okay?
The movies. Where the movies at?
The movie theater.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So again, we're fighting. We came up with a vacant building ordinance to try to get these people to, and if you're not going to use it, sell it, do something with it, whatever. And we want somebody to be in there, because an empty building makes the town look bad, okay? Mm-hmm. And so a number of those factors like that. But what you do see, if you turn it, and if we can get people to see the positive side instead of looking at the negative side of Darlington or any other town, is that it takes people believing in what they're doing. Okay, you're an example. Okay, y'all are an entrepreneur that walked into Darlington, and you took a little small building, and you took your money and you invested to go in there. And we have to get people to realize, and that's why I tell people, if you leave my gym at Pearl Street, okay, by the bridge, and you walk all the way down to the square and go around the square and walk all the way to Walmart, you might find two businesses, Roses and can't think of them, IGA or somewhere, that you don't find the owner. Okay, the owner is typically in the building, all right, or close by, or going to be back by, or something. And so we're locally owned and grown. And so, but that's people believing in what we have there. And the other people, the residents, have to believe in us and shop with us. And so we all have to work together to bring that belief in there to make it to where it will grow, and other people want to be a part of it. And to me, I'm seeing that, because you've got Donnie Weatherford's wife opened up a cloth shop, and it's on that line of the city. Okay, it's over there by where I used to work at, Mobile Auto Supply, just before you get to the racetrack. But she's opened a child's boutique right there, renovated the building, looks really nice. Then you come into town, there's 3 more clothing stores. Okay, and how many times have you seen a clothing store open up? That's what I said. And
Right.
ice cream shop. Somebody just from up north just bought the Coxwell's building, so I haven't heard what they're going to do there. But people want to see something happening, and they want to be a part of that. And so if we continue to make it work and support the businesses that we have, then other people want to come in and be a part of it.
You say you've been mayor 4 years. You got elected in 2019?
2020.
2020.
I got elected in 2019, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. So when you took office, you came in. And would you say that, of course, it was unprecedented, but would you say the pandemic was the most difficult thing you've had to deal with
Yes, sir.
Since
Yeah,
in
like I
your
said,
tenure?
because you walk in and you're ready to go talk with everybody and help everybody, then all of a sudden you're shut down and nobody will talk to you, and nobody will meet with you. The council had to meet on Zoom, and it's hard to work that way, but we made it work. Everybody made it work, and
Right.
we came out of it, and and again, when we did come out of it, it's pricing's high and things have changed, and so again, I tell people look at the housing market, look at the cars, everything is just and what caused that is a lack of people wanting to work. Everybody says they're short workers, and is it the presidential government that did it, or is it COVID that did it, or is it a factor of all of it? I don't know. But a lot of things, that we see, I don't know of anything that hasn't increased in price,
Right.
and so that's made things tough.
I don't remember what you ran on and what your campaign was and everything like that before, but what would you say you're most proud of, and what would you say is one of your biggest accomplishments?
Well,
while
I
you were
mean,
mayor?
when I went to run the first time, I said, I couldn't. I still don't promise anybody anything, because if I promise you something and I don't fulfill it, then I break my promise. But the one thing I have promised is that I will work hard to try to make a change and clean things up. People asked, how are you going to compete with Florence and Hartsville and stuff? And I tell people I'm not going to compete. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to clean up what we got. The viewpoint that I had was, if I invite you to my house and I want you to come in my home and you tell me that you're coming tomorrow, typically I'll try to make sure everything's straight and clean looking, and I'm going to tidy things up and try to put on a good impression. So you'll come back, and then maybe you'll bring your friends with us, and then it'll grow. The city's the same way. There was only, I get ridiculed a lot of times because I'm down the road with a weed eater. Nobody didn't stop me having a weed eater. That's something I can do. I didn't have to ask your permission. I didn't have to get the council permission. I can go down the side of the road and weed eat, and take pride in what I got, because I knew that when I go through a town, I look at the things that look good, and a lot of times you ride through a town and you go, oh, that's a nice looking town, and all you saw was some pretty flowers. You saw some people out
Some
front.
landscaping.
And so, the buildings in front of my gym, that's Palmetto Subs, I bought them chairs and put chairs out front. I put the Mexican restaurant up front on the square. I bought that table out there. There's a number of places like that we put tables and chairs out to try to get it where people are out. So when you come out, you see activity. You don't go by and see a ghost town. And trying to get there where there's beautiful flowers and the streets are clean and the roads are paved, and you put on that good impression, and so that people want to be a part of it. My goal was to put on the front of where people would see that some things are happening. And I tell people there has been a lot happening. I mean, we've had $250 million or more worth of funds from numbers of entities come in to be put into the middle of Darlington in the last really 3 years. Okay, but my last 4 years, there's been millions of dollars dumped in. And I go to Marion, I go to Sherrall, I go to Bennettsville. Sherrall just built a $15 million motel. We would love to have a $15 million motel, but that's been their focus. And their focus is to see if they can put that motel there and make their downtown grow. And again, I have a gym right beside it almost, and we're hoping that's going to make that grow. All the towns are working together to try to make things prosper. But we have worked hard on that. My goal at the very beginning was to get the sports complex. We didn't get exactly what we wanted, but we're going to have a ball field. We're going to have brand new ball fields, brand new baseball stadium. It's going to be proud for everybody to see. And so lots of things like that have accomplished. And so that was my goal at the beginning, and now is to continue to thrive on that and bring more businesses in. We brought in 15 plus businesses have come into town. Did I bring businesses into town? No. Before I became mayor, I went to municipal association and took classes to try to make sure I knew what I'm supposed to do when I get here. I've never been mayor before, never been on council before. And
That was your first time? How long you been mayor?
4 years.
Okay, okay.
And so, they taught us there in today's world. Years back, you would go, take him out to eat. You want to bring Starbucks in. You're a Starbucks owner. Let's talk. And I got a good spot for you. But that doesn't happen now.
No.
Starbucks is coming to Darlington, but Starbucks didn't come to Darlington because I'm there. They see the growth of stuff going on, and they're willing to invest money into it. You saw growth. You're willing to say, well, this is a good spot. And people have asked me to go to other towns and open gyms. I'm like, well, it's not a whole lot going on there, and it's going to take me just as much to open that gym there as it will if I went to a place that something's really happening. So I'm more apt to put my money over here.
Same
Same with Starbucks. Same with Chick-fil-A, places like that. They're looking for a lot of activity because no matter where
on.
they go, they might get that piece of dirt a little bit cheaper.
Right.
But other than that, it still takes the same thing to run.
Correct. Same money.
And so, if people see that activity going on, they want to be a part of it. And so we like I said, 15 plus businesses have come in town, and Georgia Pacific, has been a big plus of $175 million that they've invested into their city, into their plant there. And, those workers, if they don't stay, if we don't have a good town for those workers to live here and enjoy quality of life here, then they're going to leave and go somewhere else. And they leave and go somewhere else, and you don't have as many people here for Georgia Pacific to pull from and have employees to go there, then those employees aren't going to show up. If those employees don't show up, then you will have another big empty building. And
A nice empty building.
And when a company looks at you and says, well, we spent $145 million, but we went ahead and did some more stuff. We went to $175 million, and they dropped $30 million out of their tongue like it's nothing. They'll leave a building like it's nothing. And you see that amongst other places that everybody has to work together.
Correct.
So when you go out, Georgia Pacific is not, the Koch brother doesn't live here, but those people live here. And so when you go out, try to buy a Dixie plate, because that guy down the road is making your plate. And so we're all here together and to make it grow. And so again, we're seeing that growth. And the county council has worked real good with us. School boards worked real good with us, trying to make things happen together, because it all, people don't want to move to Darlington if there's not a good school system. School system, I can't go tell the school board. People has fussed at us and said, why don't you keep this school here? Well, I tell people I can run through the hallway naked. The school board don't really don't listen to me. They do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So
we can have some input and little thoughts behind it, but they have to make sure that there's a good school system here for people to bring
Correct.
people
Bring
to
the
town to want
kids.
to live. Again, my goal has been, and we've got enough on council at this moment. My goal has been to where there's probably close to 75 empty pieces of dirt lots inside the city limits. Okay, and I've tried to explain to people that dirt brings the city of Darlington is a business. If you don't think that business will go out of business, look at some of these other towns around. You drive by, and there's one officer that works there or no officer that works there, and the town's gone. And so the dirt brings the city of Darlington in maybe $100 a year. And so my goal is for the next time is to try to have a plan. We've got a plan that we go through and characterize all these lots, find all the lots that are empty. You own a lot, you own a lot, you own a lot. And I have somebody that contacts you and you're willing to sell your lot, and you don't want to sell your lot, that's fine. You don't want to clean your lot up, that's fine. But if you don't clean it up and you don't, follow the rule to get it cleaned up, the cities will go clean it up. But if we go clean it up and you're willing to sell your lot, and out of these 75 lots, if we can find 10 or 15 lots that are for sale, then we go to the contractor and have the contractor come through, and he's willing to buy these lots and say, if you buy these lots, however many contractors, if you buy these lots within a year or 2 year period of time, there's no water tap fee, there's no permit fees. You just build a house on it. Okay, thank you. Build a house on it, and when he builds that house on it, that house is going to now do what?
Make you money.
Maybe money with taxes on it, right? Somebody go pay that. If you don't sell it,
And it'll be more than $100.
And then
12 months.
And then when you flip your light switch on, the city gets a 5% fee off that.
Yeah.
When you do internet, the city gets a franchise fee off that. When you pull water, trash, sanitation, there's a small fee off all that. Right. When you pull up and you got 2 cars in your parking lot, you got to pay city taxes on that, right? You got a boat, you got to pay city taxes. Then you ride down to the restaurant and you buy a pizza or something to eat, more revenue coming in that way. Yeah. So that generates a lot more. Plus, when I ride by and stuff, you having this grown-up lot sitting beside your house and I tell people, one of the biggest things that irritates me is these little ladies that, there's a lady on Tullittle Street, and I'm not going to call her name. Her son calls me a lot of times when I go over and check on her. She's got 12 children. I think she says she's got 36 or so grandchildren, and she'll come out there, she'll be ranting and raving and stuff going on, and she's out there cleaning her yard. The yard looks good, flowers out. The place is beautiful. It's a little small house. It's not a $500 million home. It's not $1 million home, but it's a home.
Hey,
she keeps it clean. And I walk in there and I feel at home when I walk in her house. And so that's what you want. And you want these people to come in, and no matter what type house that is, you want them to feel at home, and you want the neighborhood to look good. But if beside her house is, grown all up, and it used to be a home, but it's now, there's 2 or 3 houses in the area that need to be torn down. You try and get this torn down and cleaned up, because then it It just brings people in that want to hibernate in that it shouldn't be there, and brings in issues, and it makes her neighborhood look bad, which lowers the value of her home. And so, again, it doesn't matter what the value of her home is, it makes that neighborhood look bad. And she's trying to take care of her place. And so it would make her neighborhood look better. She's happier. Everybody loves a happy home.
Wow.
And so our goal is when you go through, and instead of being empty lots there's homes there. And the more homes, there's more people, and somebody come buy a drink from you, and somebody come work out with me.
We got a question for you. We got a first question of the night for James Dixon. James Dixon was the sheriff. Well, I say always my sheriff for Sherrod. And his question was, did the mayor and the council share the same vision for the city of Darlington?
Pretty much, yes, sir. Like I said, I would say yes. Again, the purpose of having 6 council members and a mayor, and when I first ran for mayor, one of the conflicts that people were worried about with me was I'm very strong-minded. I'm a go-getter. Wherever I get the shovel, I'll do it. I'll help you. Prison reformers are out there, helping us clean the streets. I'm out there working with them, trying to get things done, and trying to, show my part in it. Is that there are other towns that have 1 or 2 people that are investing heavily into the town. Okay, in Darlington, you got 5 or 10 people that are investing heavily into the town. City council's the same way. I have great ideas. They all have great ideas. And again, I kind of got sidetracked a while ago with about the building on Exchange Street. A few people didn't want to tear it down. I want to tear it down and make a parking lot. And someone would say, well, we can use it for different small businesses. So we're waiting to see what the master plan says is the best thing. But we're able to, even though you've got multiple people on council and you have multiple ideas, we have been able to work together. And that's what makes a city good, because if it was just me and and everybody had my ideas, and I come in and I can convince you to believe everything that I believe, then it becomes a dictatorship, and it's the way Curtis wants it, and it's not the way Curtis wants it, it's the way the council wants it. So that's why you put a diverse group on there that can learn to work together and act like adults and say, hey, I don't think that's a good idea, but we move on and try to change it. So, but again, overall, I think the majority of council, like I said, everybody on council is willing to work to put more houses in town. They all have that same idea and thought. They're all working toward the ball field. Like I said, nobody, I use this as no pun intended, but nobody dropped the ball for 4 years. And,
Okay.
It was just a number of things with the ball field that just have constantly delayed, waiting on this person, waiting on the engineer to get things done.
Okay. Now, last week we had your opponent, Damian Prince here. Yes, okay. And one thing about his campaign that he was talking about that he wanted to make better, he was talking about the water bill in Darlington.
Right.
Now, I don't know the exact numbers, but they said during a national pandemic, a global pandemic, right?
Oh, that's right? What they call it. We had a caller call in saying.
And they said that Darlington's water bill increased 40%.
Okay. All right. That's correct.
And they were one of the few cities, if not the only city.
Yeah. From what we got, they said that we were like the only city.
Well, I don't know if I was the only city. If
during that time frame. Okay. During the pandemic.
But again, when you walk into a business, and you've got a business, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you give it to this gentleman here, and he decides he's going to take it over, and you've had it for a number of years, and when you walk in the door, for between 8 and 9 years, is $2.9 million in the hole.
Oof. You're talking about that's the water department.
The water department.
$2.9 million in the hole.
$2.9 million in the hole.
How does that happen?
It has to constantly take out from the general fund. So the general is it's
for people that don't know.
Each department is kind of like a separate entity.
Okay.
This entity is losing money. Okay.
Yes.
And so it's supposed to be able to be self-sufficient and help try to. There's no way to get. We had an expert come in and tell us, and he says we're still, even after we've raised it, his words were, we're still 75% behind, which means we almost need to double it again. We can't double it again. Okay, there's no way. No cities can't do that. But we were so far behind, they had been raising it here and there over the past number of years, but it was just small increments, and everybody's scared to raise the bill. And again, to start with, we're trying to get everybody to understand it's a utility bill. It's not just your water bill. Okay.
Okay, explain that. So they just think it's the water bill.
Is it sewer?
It has water on it. Okay,
Yeah.
so and the way it works is the more water you use, the more your sewer fee goes. So they're kind of balanced together. Okay, so if you use a lot of water, your sewer fee goes up also. Okay, you have a trash can pickup on it. All right.
Okay.
And then you have a stormwater fee. So there's four bills on there. Four different bills. All right. So when we come in, the first part of my term, the only thing I could hear from the city manager and from the city water department department head is that we're going to have to sell the water department. Okay. Now Marion has sold the water department.
Yeah.
Correct.
Outsourced it. I don't live there. I haven't been there over two decades.
But I have a gym there, and I don't pay Marion. I pay Grand Strand Water and Sewer. Okay? So now, if you got an issue in Marion and you don't like something, you don't go to city council. You sold out. Okay, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I didn't think it. To me, I didn't think it was a good thing. It takes control of our water system. Our water system is in bad shape. It's been in bad shape as the past city department head said. They had just been fixing things, and when they say fix things, God's. And again, I've got numbers to back everything I tell you today. Okay, God is my witness. Fixing things, a lot of things that were being fixed were fixed. And you go in there, and it was a wrench taped to something. Okay, to make something hold. All right.
With water involved?
At the bottom of the hill where the fire trucks go up in and out 6 times, my first 6 months or more, less, at least 6 times there were sinkholes there. Okay, major sinkholes. Okay,
Talking at the bottom.
At the bottom,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I saw him working on it one time.
I've got the video that I can show you with the worker down there and the pipes at the bottom of the hill and in the ground. The top of the pipe is gone. Okay, and this worker didn't do it. This was from sometime past. There was like a 30. It didn't say 35, but it was like a 35-mile-an-hour speed sign, like one of the road signs, laying over top of it. That was the patch. Okay, so that's how lots of things were being fixed. That's why the sinkhole kept coming back.
Oh.
So we finally got things like that fixed, but what we were confronting with was we're going to have to sell the water department. Okay, well, I don't want to sell the water department. We need to fix it. So we've got to come up with a way to do it. So yeah, we had to raise the water bill. Were we in the middle of a pandemic? Yes, but at the same time, one of the other candidates tried to say the other day that we didn't give everybody a warning, and they said if we just told everybody, they would have been okay. No, they knew, and we told them. And when we did, finally, it takes 2 readings, it takes 2 months to finally agree to raise the water bill. So council, everybody on council, except for one person, voted to raise the bill.
7 of y'all in city, it was 6 to 1.
6 to 1
to raise.
Raise the water bill and the trash,
they were against
trash and the stormwater fee. All the different fees on there had to go up a little bit.
If they were against you, it wouldn't happen.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there was six votes.
Right.
6 votes.
All right.
The first time. Okay.
All right.
Then, so we raised it, and then we said, well, we're not going to raise it until October. Okay. So it was raised in October, and I started in January. All right. So on my first physical year, 9 months of my first physical year, the water bill and fees on that utility bill had been raised, and so when the numbers come back from that. The numbers before that were $645,000 in the hole that previous year. The next year we were only $29,000 in the hole. Well, I honestly thought somebody would pat me on the back and say, "That's a pretty good job, right?" If you took his business over and brought it.
I'm a numbers dude, so I would have been like, yeah,
you would have got celebrated.
The next year it was $505,000, 505,000. I'm thinking in the surplus. Okay, and that sounds like a lot of money, and we've been accused. Oh, well, you got $500,000 now. Well, if I call you to ask you to bring a tractor over, that $500,000 is pretty much will be blown. $500,000 just means that we finally got out of the hole a little bit, and we're.
It was in
and
six.
this year we don't have the auditor's not brought our numbers back yet, so this year it should be in a surplus also. But that's where it's supposed to run. So again, we're about where we need to be. We've been able to, along with what they call the ARP money that come in from the government, where they gave all the cities money. We were able to use that money for infrastructure. We've been able to put that money to the side. Out of that money, I think we got a little over $2 million left that's still sitting there.
Okay.
We gave a little over $400,000 to the employees for, all the cities gave everybody as like a bonus, for having to work through the pandemic.
One thing I want to ask
Essential
you, I want you to explain to the people that might not know when you say infrastructure.
Okay. Infrastructure is your sewer pipes that are in the ground, your water pipes, your storm drains. When you come through Darlington, there are storm drains.
Okay.
And if you come through Hardee's, coming from Florence,
Yeah.
you have a hard time. You
Yeah.
used to have a hard time getting into town.
Okay.
And over by Pearl Street, on front of the Darlington Motel, Napa store, that area there, you'd have a hard time coming through town. And so there was a few years back that you couldn't even get in town. You had to stop. Okay. And you were in town, you couldn't get out of town. And so all these infrastructure, these pipes and all are 60 to 80 years old. They have to be fixed. There's no way to go and just all of a sudden fix them all. You're talking about millions of dollars. And so to get the water department where it will function correctly and be able to have the equipment that it needs and so forth, we had to try to bring it up to par to get it there. We've been able to take the money from that, working diligently, not wasting money with the water department, and then the money that came in from the ARP money, and a new water department head. He has brought in over right at $10 million worth of grant money to fix stuff that has been fixed, being fixed, and then there's part of that $10 million is stuff that's already lined up to be fixed. Like, for example, when you go by McLeod Hospital going out of town by the country club in Oakdale area there,
Yeah.
you see that black pipe across the river there, the creek, that's a sewer pipe. Well, that sewer pipe, if it cracks, it's a mess. Okay, it's gonna be sewer in the water. So that's in one of the bids that's not been fixed yet. That's going to be fixed. Okay.
So that sewer and I'm gonna ask this question because I got another one that comes right back. Now, when you say over there by the country club, and when you fix that pipe, does that go to the whole city or just over there?
That drain goes over to the hospital.
Okay, to the hospital.
To the hospital, yeah.
All right.
All right. And then you've got like down Broad Street that's got the hole in it right now.
Okay.
There's a $1.9 million grant that's already been approved. That's already we're waiting for the bids to come in to fix that line that's in the middle of that street.
On Broad Street.
And it's called line bursting, so they can go through and burst that line and fix it without having to tear up the whole road. So but the new city water department head come in and has again, he's been ridiculed because they gave him a big raise. Well, we gave him a big raise because he was fixing to leave, and again, he was brought in under $10,000 under what the past city department head, water department head person was being. I'm not going to name the names. What he was being paid, he was brought in $10,000 less with a lot more experience. Okay, so then he worked another year or so, and then he come up and said, "Well, I, got a chance to leave," and it was either you kind of say go or hope that you can find somebody, but you got a man that is out there getting it done, fixing all the stuff that's needing to be fixed. And
Kudos to that brother.
So you got to kind of do it. Okay. But they didn't have a problem with years back offering a person $37,000 a year more in 2016, I think it was, to come in and take a position and have $37,000 more than the current. I'm not naming names, but anyway, there was more. That was way back before COVID. So $37,000 a year back then was way more than it is right now. So again, that was a big jump. Shoot. But again, it's not that he held us to the fire, but again, it was he has the opportunity to go out. You either keep him or try to hope that you go find somebody else, and you got everything falling apart. Okay, right. But things are being fixed. And so when you go back to the water bill, which is a utility bill. The water bill did go up in 2020, okay, at the end of 2020, October. Mm-hmm. We were still in the pandemic. We were sliding out of the pandemic. We're still somewhat in a pandemic, okay? I mean, it's a mess right now. And so when we did raise that, people fussed about it. They've been fussing about it ever since, okay? But again, I tell people I'm sorry, and I've been accused. I'll raise my hand. I'm not the only one that did it, but we pushed for it, okay? Because it had to be done. And I don't know of anything else that hasn't gone up. And so I'm not sure why we're being ridiculed so much for that. When your water bill, I did the little chart the other day. If you compare us to the Darlington County, okay, that you don't have a septic tank. You have a septic tank. You don't have city sewer. If you're living in just your basic fee and you don't use any water, their water bill and our water bill, their sewer and our sewer, okay, their trash pickup and our trash pickup, it comes out to be a total of $74.72. I think we were $4 higher than the county. Okay, if I remember my numbers right. So, but the county doesn't have a sewer system, right? Do you have to pay for sewer in the county if you live in the county?
I don't know. I
do. In
Florence. Yeah.
If you live in the county, do you have to pay for sewer?
Yeah, with your homeowner taxes.
Septic tank.
Yeah. No, not septic tank.
Yeah.
No, with your taxes.
Oh no, but if you have a septic tank, you don't have to pay for sewer.
No.
Like in the city, you pay for sewer, right?
Yeah, city you pay, county you don't.
So the people in the county said, "Well, I don't pay for sewer, but you do, okay?" Because a septic tank. My friend just bought a new house, and I said, "Your house included a septic tank, right? With nothing in it, clean, brand new septic tank. That septic tank, if he had been in the city, would had to pay for that septic tank.
Correct.
That septic tank cost at least $6,000 from a tank company, okay? Right. And so if you take $6,000 and 20 years from now, let's just say $7,000, adding a little interest to it, inflation to it for 20 years from now, if you take $7,000 and divide it by 20 years, by 12 months, it's $30 a month that you should be putting to the side for a septic tank, correct. Right? And so our septic tank system, and our sewer system is compared to their septic tank system.
Okay.
So right now, and again, if anybody out there has a problem with your water bill, when I say a problem, if your water bill is astronomical for some reason, I've asked everybody, bring it to me. Okay, let's look at it. But I promise you, I have had, I don't know how many people to fuss about the water bill. And I'll look at them and go, I had one the other day, my water bill, $200-something, man. Well, that's pretty high. Well, it was 2 months, and I ain't paid it for 2 months. Well, if you don't pay it for 2 months, you got a late fee on it.
Oh, it's no double.
Anything, you got a late fee.
Yeah.
And I've had people that I personally have paid for their, I clear $600-something a month to do this job, okay? And I give my money back into the city. That's what I told everybody would do. And I said, there's some people that I know they're having a hard time. They've called, and I try to help them. And I said, well, I'm gonna pay for your light. I'm gonna pay for your water bill. And you're caught up, and the money that you were going to put on it, go and put on it again, and said that way you're hit. I said, because you paid it, you're 2 months behind. Well, that's how I pay my bill every 2 months, ma'am. You can't pay it every 2 months. Well, that's just how I pay it. And so you try to educate them and realize, you're fussing about the bill, but you got a $25 or whatever it is late fee on there. You can't do that.
But check this out. Okay, that's cool, and you can't pay everybody.
No.
Water
But
bill.
we're trying to educate them to back up and pay your bill. Okay?
Yeah, but what about what I've heard last week? I've heard some. I was reading something, and I think they call, if I say it right, Darlington is LMI, low moderate income or something like that.
Income. Yep.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of low income houses and stuff. Okay, and just for me knowing a lot of seeing what people get for Social Security, right?
Right.
But what about? And I hear this a lot. What about the little lady or the man that only gets that $800 a month? I think this is the gripe. They get that $800 a month, where right now I might have to choose eating or paying this water bill or my medicine.
Right. I understand.
So how do we help people?
Right. So-
how do we help people like that? Because I know you can't pay them all.
Right. So let's back up. We raised it the first time.
Okay.
And let me backtrack just a touch. Okay.
But you saved it too.
Their sanitation had gone up. Okay. On us. All
Okay.
right. So the city's losing money. So they had to go up on the sanitation to try to get caught up on that. Stormwater fees on there. Okay. Past administration did what they call the Southwest Project, which is the stormwater that comes down by Subway and all through there. Okay. That bond is costing the city $181,000 a year.
What does stormwater do? What is
Stormwater is where the water comes in and on the streets.
Flood.
It flows
Yeah.
flows
The
through.
street.
So they redid a bunch from the oil mill. They did a big pipeline through there to make the water flow. Okay. Cost $2.4 million. And then so they had to borrow money. And then when they borrowed the money, it's a bond. It's a $181,000 payment is what the city pays. But when you look at your utility bill, it says stormwater fee, and I'm thinking it was like $650, and so it's gone to $1,050 for a household. Okay. And so that stormwater fee before was only bringing $144,000 a year in. It was bringing in less than what we were paying out. So the city's losing money. So they had to adjust that because that wasn't correct. And so the next year we didn't raise the water bill. Okay, the utility bill, nothing was raised on it. The third year, 2022, we raised it again, but we didn't raise the water part, which includes your sewer. So your water and sewer was not raised if you use less than 5,000 gallons. Okay, so for the little lady that is, and again, I know there's one on Pecote Street. I've helped her. I've cut some tree limbs out for her, and we cut a little tree limb out for her the other day. And the guy that helps me, Leon, he said that tree's not going to fall on her house. And I said, well, she's 80 something years old. She thinks that tree limb's going to fall on her house. Okay? And I know how my mother is, and so I know how my mother was when 6 years ago when my dad died. She was on a fixed income also. She had me to be able to help her, but yet when she would get her Social Security come in. And then the next year, her Social Security would go up. Okay, her check would go up. It would still come down lower because her insurance went up higher. And so it kept going in the reverse. And so she would have less money coming in. So I understand how it is for some of these people that are on complete fixed incomes. There's not a large number, they say there is, but there's, they try to say there's a bunch of people out there like that. There's not that big a number of those people out there. But we didn't go up on anybody if they were using 5,000 gallons or less water, okay? Trash went up about, I think, $2 or so. So the bill in 2022 should have went up $2 to $4 more per month. And again, I don't know the complete answer. Florence is trying to start see if they can offer it to where you make good money, I make good money, we are able to pay our bills, no problem. Round it up, okay? You pay an extra 50 cents this month, you pay extra 90 cents, I'll pay extra 97, you pay an extra 98 cents, and they take all that money, put in a fund, and then you come and your grandmother comes in and has to fill out paperwork to verify that she's on this fixed income and she's only got $800 a month coming in, she has a hard time paying her water bill, then they help pay her bill. So we're looking at trying to see if we can also copy that and do something with that. That's a good idea where all the citizens work together to do that. The more businesses and stuff that we can bring in, we eventually get it to where we don't have to raise things as high. But it was way behind the 8 ball. What people don't realize also is, and nobody ever brings up, is in our 4 years we didn't raise taxes at all. Your tax levy we could have raised that. So if you're on a house or whatever else your fees on that would have gone up. The city didn't raise anything on that. But we did raise the water bill, and again, and the sewer sanitation, but it was way behind. The commercial people, they were fussing too, but we had 5 commercial trash cans, 5 different sizes, and God's my witness, 4 of them we were selling to you less than it was costing the city. I mean, you go sell your drinks less than it costs you to buy or make your drink, you won't stay there. You can't pay your rent, you can't pay your workers. All these workers needed to get raises. Police officers were making $32,000 a year. We've got them to $45,000 a year if they come in from the academy. And then still at the same time you get on to $45,000 a year, we're feeling good. Boom! Everybody else in the other cities jump up behind us, and then
and the police
my chief is trying to get somebody to fill out application now.
Yeah.
And so it's just a tough world, and we're to try to get the qualified people in there to try to balance the budgets to where you can make the money coming in. But what you've got to do is bring more business in, bring more houses in, to where we can all share into it, to where it's not just me and you having to pay the bill. So right now the population of Darlington has increased over the years, and so we're trying to get that population built back up. And so to answer the question as far as helping these people, we're looking at trying to do a project like that to where we can actually benefit them. Now they have asked, some of them have said the ARP money, the money the government gave us, that we could give that back. If we gave everybody back $20 a month for the last 3 years for their water bill, that would be $720. I would give that little lady or that gentleman or whoever $720, and then that $720 would seem like a lot, but by the time I did that to every household, the $2 million that we have sitting in the bank that's going to be used to help with this infrastructure would be gone. And then everybody's going to want their infrastructure fixed. They're going to want the sewer off the street. People have been complaining about sewer on Farm Street.
Yeah,
as one of the council members says, it's been going on for years, and it has. But sewer on Farm Street is just about taken care of. There's still, that project's not complete, but it's almost complete. And so if you ride through town, you ride down D Avenue, E Avenue. If you notice that they're paved, why are they paved? Because they cut that whole street and run those lines all through that area there to help with the sewer lines. If you go through and look at the lift stations. The lift station is where when you flush your toilet and that sewer goes down, it's got to help lift it and push it out to the end of Broad Street into the filtration system. Okay, and so all those pumps and stuff were old, and they were all different types of pumps, and so we had to have all these different types of parts. So now when you ride by, and I'll be glad to take you by, I'll be glad to show you pictures. There's pictures on my website from Boyd from Air that show you that all these pumps and lift stations are the same now. They're all new looking. You go out by Verizon, the building out by Food Line, and look at that one. Brand new units. You can't see down in the building into the hole where the pumps are, but all these pumps are new. And so there's still a lot more to be fixed. And according to Charles Sugar with the City Water Department, by the end of 2024, everything mechanically with the sewer system should be brand new. Okay. Now all the lines aren't going to be brand new, but we're still continuing to fix those. A lot of your lines are what they call Tocado pipes. They're clay pipes, and they're just old. My mother was 91 when she died 6 years ago. And I tell people I miss her every day. I was mama's boy. Okay. But time came. And you're old, and we all gonna have a point in time to die, and pipes are the same way. I mean, you know, somewhere along the line ain't gonna last but so long. We had an expert come in, and of course now we're using those corrugated plastic pipes, and he said, yeah, these things should last 100 years. I'm thinking somewhere in 100 years from now, somebody's gonna be mad at me. Freaking plastic pipes in the ground.
Yeah. so check this. You asked. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I was sitting here and I was listening to, and I'm just thinking like, that's a lot to do from the seat. And then you come in, like you used the analogy of you received a business that was $2.9 million in the hole, and you have to do something, right? Because if you don't do anything, you're going to get ridiculed for that.
Right. Yes,
so it's better to do what you think in your heart is right, and kind of.
And again, we're not here to hurt anybody.
Yeah, but you have to do something.
Right, and to me, it's like, and I'm not here to make anybody mad over the streets being paved. There's, one side of town's mad because they can't get to the other side of town because the roads are being paved and the bridge is out. And that's with DOT. DOT didn't coordinate that together, and now you have a hard time trying to get an officer back on the other side of town, or somebody needs a heart attack, or has a heart attack, and you need an ambulance over there. And I understand them being upset, but then the roads are being paved. But somebody just the other day when with one of the little small roads, I'm tired of all this road construction. Well, we all are to a certain point, but at the same time, as I tell people, when I first became mayor, there were cones all over town. We were known as the cone town, okay? And you would ride through, and that cone would have a flower on it. And I'm not going to name her, Mrs. H on Washington Street, okay? She was a perfect example. She had a hole in her front yard by Washington Street for 6 years, okay? And you asked me what my greatest accomplishment was, a lot of times it's little things. This little lady has had cancer. I think she's something 80 years old, and she, how little ladies and men are, we're all detailed. That thing worried her to death, and I'm sure it worried her to death. She had a nice little yard, but in her front yard was a big metal plate sitting over the top of a hole with cones on it, with flowers in the cones and grass growing all around it because it wasn't being cleaned up. And everybody was like, well, that's your hole. No, that's your hole. Whose hole is it? Okay, well, it's going to take $400,000 was what I was told one time to fix it. Well, let's fix it. Okay, somebody just figure out what's wrong with it. Okay, but now when you ride through town, you see cones in town. You sit and think when you drive through Darlington, all of 50P bypass has been paid by DOT. All of Pearl Street has been paid by DOT, and not because I was the mayor. Okay, they didn't pay in front of my gym because I'm the mayor. All of South Main Street has been paid except for D Avenue to the square. They're supposed to come back at the first of the year and pay that. All of Lawson Road, all of Smith Avenue, a number of the streets in town that are owned by the county. Darlington has paid 43 roads. Over our 43 roads, over our 43 roads, we have paved 19 of our 43 roads in Darlington, okay? And so a lot of things are being fixed. And so when you see construction, things are being repaired. But that lady finally got her hole fixed, okay? Because I kept pushing and I kept pushing and I kept pushing. I said, well, let's get it fixed. And it took me 2 years to finally get her hole fixed. When her husband died, somebody fell in that hole, her child fell in that hole, and they had to pull them out. And kind of find out when they did the Southwest project, the what they call the storm drain coming through that area, that was actually a dead line. And they finally said, oh, it's a dead line. You just fill it with concrete. Well, why didn't you do that a long time ago? And so, Wells Street, same thing. The city manager, the past city manager that was there, and the past DOT man that was over DOT that's gone now, it's retired, they stood and argued with each other like two children. Well, the city had agreed to pay $50,000 to have that hole fixed at the bottom by the fire department at Wells Street in Orange. And why would the city, it's in the minutes. They agreed to pay $50,000 of your city taxpayer money. Why? It's not your road, okay? But they never paid it. So then it never got fixed. And he says, well, DOT said, well, you didn't pay me and we didn't start it. And city manager said, well, you didn't start it, so I didn't pay you. And I'm standing there like, y'all are arguing like kids, okay? So I didn't know any better then. I got on Facebook and I got Tanya Brown out there. I said, I'm going to sue DOT. And so I got Senator Malloy involved, and he has been Senator. I love Senator Malloy. Him and Robert Williams both. they take calls from everybody, I believe. Senator Robert Williams called me about the smallest things. Somebody's called him, and everybody wants to call and try to get help. But they come and they try to help. And I asked Senator Malloy, said, if your wife falls through here, rides through here, and falls through this hole, when we gonna fix it? Is that when we gonna fix it? And so, boom, it's fixed. Okay, $600,000 later, they got it fixed, and now that hole has been totally repaired down there and taken care of. On Washington Street, that hole's been taken care of. And Mrs. H over there, I call her, is happy now. And so those cones are out of her yard, and things are being repaired. And so lots of little tie-ins and things that I know that I can do and I have been able to do to push to get stuff taken care of because of, each side of, you're trying to help everybody. The other thing I learned, I guess, I'm trying to ramble a little bit, is years ago, there's a railroad track that runs through the town, right, by Nick's, and there's two sides of the town. There was, right? There was this side of the town and this side of town. And some people still believe that. But I was never taught that there was two sides of the town. And so I try to cover the whole town because when you turn over off of Joe Louis Boulevard, I want all that area to look good. When you turn into the country club, I want all that area to look good. I can't go in your yard and clean your yard up. I can't, but I can make sure the down sides of the streets are clean. I can try to make that empty lot over there look good. There's probably 150 cars in town that are just abandoned, and that's against the ordinance. So we're trying to push to get and again, I can't make codes do that. I can't make people do that, but we can keep pushing for it. And I've got enough council to try to start pushing with me to make sure all this is cleaned up and taken care of, so that when you do ride through a town, it looks good, and the residents are happy, and there's no sewer on the street, and the infrastructure's fixed. We don't want to raise bills and fees and so forth, but again, that's part of life, and I had to take that fight. And if somebody doesn't vote for me because I raised your water bill, I'm sorry. And if the next administration comes in and we're not here, and they try to lower your water bill, they can lower your water bill. I said the other day, somebody tried to say, well, you said they can't lower your water bill. Yeah, they can lower your water bill, but they can't do it without if you take over his business and it's $2.9 million a hole, and you had to raise all the prices on the drinks and stuff to get it back in par, and you can lower your fees, but you're gonna be back where he was in the hole. And then you're gonna be able to pay your, the coolers broke down, and your meat grinder's messed up, and your employees ain't showing up because you ain't paying them, and so
it's a business.
It's a business that's got to be run that way, and it's got to make money. It's got to be clean. We have to be good stewards of your money. We can take the $2-something million that's left. We can give it all back to you. Okay. I guess I've been told, some people say it's illegal. We can't take that money and give it back to you. We can figure out some way we can give it all back to everybody. But it's $700 would be nice to give everybody, give them a $700 bonus. But then when we get through, your water bill's still utility bill's still the same as it was. And
same issue.
$700 is gone, and our $2-something million is gone, and then we don't have the money to do anything with. And so, John Payne, the new city manager, has come in, and we've got that money sitting there, and it was the money that we do have sitting there is making like $4,000 a year. Well, he's an investment person, and so he was able to take that money and take part of it to the side, and this past year, it's made over $100,000 as an investment. And so just a number of things that we've done good. I don't want to say we haven't done anything wrong. I think there's things that I'm sure that we all could have done better, but you pick up and you try to do what you think is best. And I think council overall has worked really good together. And I tell people, I don't think you'll find a council that will work together as good as we've worked together to try for the whole betterment of the whole city of Darlington. No matter what age, color, how much money you make, whether you're rich, poor, we're here to help everybody. The county has worked with us. Like I said, Charles Stewart and those bringing the prison farmers in, those guys are super nice. They're people, and that's what I tell people. I get ridiculed for that. I got letters written to the county because I don't know how to supervise the prison workers on. I'm not supervising. That's what he told him. He said he was out there working with them. I had a shovel too. I fed them. And I witnessed to them. Those are great guys, and they've made mistakes, and they're out there trying to do better. And those guys are on their way out. And so, I've told a number of them, you look for a job when you get out, call me. They're great guys, and go out there and they're trying to make the city of Darlington look good for us too. And we appreciate their help, and appreciate county's help, appreciate school board working with us on the ball field, It's just a collaboration. Senator Malloy's worked really good with us. So I tell people, if I can't fix it, then I try to figure out who can help me get it fixed. When I first opened my business and I finished from tech, I had a chance to go work at Gailey and Lord in Florence, in Society Hill, and I was young, and then my degree was in math, and they said they will hire me as a problem solver. I didn't really know what a problem solver was. A problem. I go, okay, because I didn't really know what the problems were out there, but they would hire me as a problem solver. But they looked at me, and I had only had my business open for less than a year, but I was struggling, and so trying to figure out what I could do to make extra money. So I would try to get a job out there, and they looked at me and they said, well, this is going to come first. And I thought, well, my daddy helped me with getting this going, and I got it going. I got a lot invested here, and I love what I'm doing, and so I stuck with what I've got, So then I wound up getting on at Tech and started teaching part-time at Tech, and I love that. And but again, I grew up. That's been years ago, and I'm 59, and guess what I became? Problem solver. and we keep trying to solve problems, and it's I've had people to say, you don't call anybody back. Yeah, I do call people back. I call everybody back. And if I miss your call, it's just by accident. I didn't get you. If I got Facebook, instant messenger, and sometimes I get confused on where did I see that person's number now. Too many things. Just text me. But I try to call everybody back, and you need to come look at this. I'll be right over there. I'll try to see what's going on, and they'll call you for all kind of things. I remember Todd Hardy told me one time. He said, now you're mayor now. He said somebody called me one time before and said, he's the coroner. He said somebody called him and said, my trash can, my wheels come off my trash can over here. And he goes, okay, well, man, what's your address? And she told him. He goes, okay. He said, well, let me ask you a question. He said, well, why'd you call the coroner? She said, because you're the only one that answered. He said, well, we'll be here in a minute and fix the wheel on your trash can. So again, you get the smallest things. I have had people to ask me to get their son out of jail and pardon them and stuff like that. And I wish I could pardon people, but you can't do that. Yeah. But I've had people call and say, well, I can't get in touch with my son. He's in jail. And I don't have nothing to do with that. But guess what? I know the police chief. I got his number. I know Sheriff Hudson. I have his number. And they're all excellent about calling you back or answering the phone. And they know that I'm not going to ask you for anything that, okay, can you get this guy off? No. This little lady's trying to get in touch with her son. She says she can't, haven't been able to see him. What's the issue? Can you figure out who to connect her with to get her in there, what she can do, and call Senator Malloy or Representative Williams or anybody. They've all been really good about trying to figure out how to help people. And again, I thought about that the other day with Representative Williams and Senator Malloy. Representative Williams called me a number of times, and said, well, I got this guy, his air conditioner's on. Somebody's air conditioner's running all the time where he's at, and it's irritating me. Can y'all go look at that? Well, he's the House of Representatives. Why'd you call him for? Well, he answers the phone, and he cares about people.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And they both care about people, and again, they both love Jesus, and they both love God. And I tell people that's what we have in common. We're here to help people. And again, do I make everybody happy? No, but I try.
So I know Jamel's going to say something. I apologize, but I need to say this before Jamel. So we stated earlier that we had David Prince here last week, right?
Right.
Really sharp guy, really sharp guy. And I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm from Florence. I'm from Timbersville, but I live in Florence, so I don't have a dog in the fight. So it's very good, very refreshing to hear not your side, your point of view, right? So if you're a critical thinker, right? We didn't ask you why you want to be mayor, right?
Right.
I think you told us why you want to be mayor, or why you are the mayor in what you've shared tonight, because it's very hard, right? And again, you have to do something.
Right.
You have to do something.
And there's times that you go, I need here's the keys. I'll give it to somebody else. But and I put on my thing something's worth fighting for. And again, a mayor, city council. And again, I tell people all the time, my wife didn't want me to become mayor, but because I became mayor, I get this in front of me because you said Mayor Boyd, okay? Yep. And I'm able to tell you that the reason I became mayor and I'm able to get up in front of everybody, I'm able to tell you about Jesus, okay? Because that's the most important thing. And what was Jesus? Jesus was a servant. And that's what we are. Yep. We're his public servants. And when that lady calls and she's got to worry about the tree limb falling on her house, and she thought her concrete was busting up and everything else. And Mrs. P, I can't call her whole name. You know, your concrete's fine, that building's fine. We'll get that tree up there cleaned up for you, and we get things done. And you're here to try to help people to feel better. And again, by no means do I satisfy everybody. And I tell people, as hard as you try to satisfy everybody, I look back and what I have learned, especially over the last 4 months, is that I question, well, dog, you know, I live 5 nights a week without my wife, okay, because I chose to move to Darlington, and my wife didn't want to move to Darlington. So I sleep by myself, and 5 nights a week, there's no rule that says how many nights you have to sleep in town. And I tell people I've been up front the whole time. I sleep 5 nights a week by myself, and I go home and sleep my wife with her at her house 2 nights a week. And so I've sacrificed a lot, but that's been my choice, and my family understands that. We see each other all the time. But again, I question a lot of times. I say, well, you know, I do all this, and I give my money back, and sometimes give more than above what I get. I do it, and I go out and cut grass. I try to help everybody. I'm running all the time doing this, and neglecting from my business a lot of times. And people still fuss at you and ridicule you. And I ask myself, by no means am I Jesus Christ. Right. And they still cuss him today. They still crucified him. They spit on him. They gambled on him. And he looked at them and said, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. And as a Christian, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to say, well, you know, I'm sorry I couldn't satisfy you. I'm trying. But again, I'm not here to get upset with you. And my personal side, yeah, I get mad. Oh, why they act to me that way? And I have to calm myself back down and say, you know, I'm just doing what I can do. And I'll sleep good at night, and I know that I've given the best. And if somebody else can come do it better, I wish them the best. And I know that I have given all. And as a servant, that's what being mayor is. Being mayor is not, you know, that's just a title. I'm still Curtis, but being mayor gets you into places, and that title gets you to places. So then you got to learn to use that in the proper way, and make that connection with people to try to help other people. And that's what I see in all this. Sheriff Hudson, I'm sure, I don't know whether he does everything right or not. I don't know. I've not rode with him, but I know he's a very good man. And every time I call him, he's right there to help. Every time I call Senator Malloy, every time I call Representative Williams, Russell Fry, Congressman Fry, you know, they answer the phone, and part of it is because they know I'm not going to call and ask for something that, you know, I'm not asking you for a favor to, you know, let somebody out of jail or do something that you're not supposed to do. We're looking to help this person. How can I direct that person to make them feel better about what they're doing?
Okay. I want to ask you one question. Now, I ain't going to ask you a question, but our closing statements. What's your message to Darlington for the future?
Be positive. Today's world, everybody wants to, and I say today's world, again, I take it all the way back. There's not a whole lot of difference between today's world and when Jesus was crucified. They looked at him and said, crucify him, throw him out there. You know, just because one person said he was bad, and everybody jumped on it and didn't even know what was going on. They don't know what's going on. Get involved and know what's going on. Don't just take it because he said it or she said it or whatever else. Really find out for yourself what's really going on. Find out the true facts. And a lot of times when you tell people you try to tell them what's really going on, they don't want to listen to it. They want to listen to what they want to. And so in today's world with Facebook, you know, they love to jump on the bandwagon and crucify people. And just and ridicule them and jump on them for no reason, where they really don't know the complete answer of what's going on and how much work is going into it. And as Judge Milling, Mr. Milling on City Council told me, you know, you have to realize that everything doesn't happen overnight. That's what he told me when I first started running, and that you can't come in and it's like my business. I want to do it now, and I get it done now. If I want to renovate my bathrooms, I go get somebody to renovate the bathrooms, and I renovate the bathrooms, and I get it done. I don't have to ask 6 people to agree. Whereas, so it's for the citizens to be positive and support your town. Every time that you get on Facebook and you say, well, you hope somebody in another country sees this. We are worldwide, okay? My gym says worldwide. I'm not worldwide, but people see me all over, okay? People see you all over. People see the city of Darlington all over. And if you get on Facebook and the least little thing that bothers you trash about Darlington. Oh, those stupid people over here. This guy over here is, you know, that's the worst restaurant I've ever been to. I went over there and this person was really bad. That person represents you, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that's not how you want that person to represent you, right?
Right.
So that's not you. It's not that restaurant owner. That one person had a bad day or something. Don't go crucify the guy that owns a woman that owns the business. You know, talk it out and find out what's going on. I had another couple, a man and his son and his man's wife, jumped on, sent me a message about a letter they got from the city about some stuff, and they were just ranting and raving and cussing. And I was like, well, I pulled up. I said, man, you've got my number. I came right over here. I mean, you just text me, and I'm 3 minutes away, 5 minutes away. I was right over there. The city manager, you got his number. We'll take care of this, and the city can go find you over this. It's just a letter they sent out. Just talk. We'll get it done. This is what you need to do. They calm down and everything, and I tell people, and the younger boys say, well, you want me to take it off Facebook? Please take it off Facebook, please. I mean, we know we got enough out here. And then, everybody loves to jump on it, And so,
I got a question for you, Curtis.
Yeah.
So, why they do that? Did you see the 10 worst cities in South Carolina that post on YouTube?
Yes.
That's not Darlington.
No, it's not. I tell people I'll walk you anywhere, and I walk and run, and me and Leon and Angel loves, we walk and run anywhere. Well, our city of Darlington is 4 square miles. I'll walk and run and knock on every door in Darlington, but walk anywhere, and I'm not scared. It's not because I'm a black belt, but I'm not scared to say,
Man, get out of here.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't walk anywhere.
I'm
not
glad you
scared to
said it
walk
because
up
that's
to
sure what I was
anybody's
thinking. I was like, I ain't scared of that.
I'll walk up to anybody and talk to them. I'm not afraid of them. And again, we have violence going into town. Every town has violence, and again, there's lots of issues. But you have hardly have anybody getting robbed and mugged, and restaurants getting, banks getting robbed or anything of that nature. We've had fatalities in town, but again, what are the reasons? Or is it gang related? We don't know if it's gang related. Was it this guy mad at this guy? And the guns need to be taken to control to where I'm a gun owner. I love guns, and I support people having guns. But at the same time, a gun, if you take all of our guns away, I can kill you with a pencil. I can kill you with that right there.
I bet you can.
Right there with the blunt end of it. Okay. Yeah. I tell people all the time when I teach self-defense class, I wouldn't want you to get a pen like this because I couldn't hit you but once. It'd probably break. All right. Mm-hmm. But if you're a woman or somebody going out, I always tell them, get you a really nice solid pen. Okay. And somebody walks up and tries to attack you, just right, and just hit them about 50 times, right? And if every time I hit you,
hit Corey about 20 times.
If I hit you with I got a nice solid pen there, and every time I hit you, every time I hit you, I'll leave a point. So when the officer gets there, he goes, well, why in the world has he got 50 holes in him? And you just say, I was trying to make my point.
Man, get out here.
But again, there's, the crime. I took all the numbers, and again, I've got numbers to back what I'm saying. Okay, if you take all the crime statistics from the city of Darlington, and it doesn't include parking tickets and it doesn't include speeding tickets. Okay, everything else is classified in there. If you take those numbers over the last 4 years from what they were to what they are now, it's a 34% decrease. Okay, have we had people shot and killed in town? Yes. Okay, have other people had people shot and killed in town? Yes. We don't want anybody hurt, shot, stabbed, nothing. We want it to be like Mayberry, okay, to where you walk around and everybody's happy and Andy can come up and talk to you. But again, we're close to that. I mean, Chief Davis can walk around, the officers walk around, everybody's approachable. But again, the city of Darlington is to me is a safe place. The fire department has done a fabulous job. The police department's done a fabulous job. The police department is understaffed. We need more officers, but we've raised the fees up. We're trying to get the fees up even higher. I personally fussed and screamed to try to get them. I wanted to get a $50,000, and to maybe start and pay at $50,000, but we couldn't quite get it there. And it seems like you start that many people at payroll, and you know what payroll is. You start giving everybody $1, $2, $3. Then you have to match that with other fees. Payroll gets out of hand real quick, and that can ruin your town. So, but again, the city of Darlington is to me is a really safe place. There's issues that going on, and again that happens everywhere. And no matter how many officers you got there, I tell people we can have 40 officers standing around everywhere, but if I get mad at you or you get mad at me, there can be a fight and somebody will shoot each other. And in today's world, it doesn't have to be a gun; it can be a fight and stab and hit each other with a stick.
Well, Curtis, my name is Jamel Lott. This is 119 Media Group. Real Talk 360. We enjoy everybody for coming on tonight. Hopefully they answer your question. And hopefully you got to say, let the people see who you are.
Yep.
Next Tuesday the Dead.
That's it.
October the 7th.
And tell people, everybody get out and vote. If you don't want to vote for me, vote. We had 1,800 people last time come out and vote. And as they said, people have been lynched. People have been stabbed, killed, shot. gone to war over it to be able to have a right to vote.
Amen for that.
That's a
Every
fact.
color, every race, every
1,800?
there's
Yeah.
4,000 registered voters.
Yeah.
So that means
Let's go,
over
Darlington.
half, basically half, or a little over half, didn't get out and vote. And again, we're doing everything we can right now to get signs out, people out. You know, I tell people I get sick of seeing my own face out there. So I mean, you know, I can't stand all the
Go
yard
vote.
signs out there. What makes the town look bad. But we got to do that, and the goal behind that is to get it out to where people remember to vote. You can vote now until Friday. From 8:30 to 5 at 131 Cashville Street, and then next Tuesday you can vote. I think it's from 7 to 7 at your precinct. But please get out and vote.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Go,
you,
Darlington.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That's how we rise up.
Yeah.
Knowledge as well.
Let's rise up.
Y'all ready? This the podcast to listen to.
Hey, that was lovely.
All right.
That was lovely.